Thank you for joining this installment of the 2020 GratisGives celebration. Now I'm being joined by Kim Young, who is the Executive Director for Children's Cabinet here in Reno. And thank you, Kim, for joining us.
Thanks so much for the invitation.
Awesome. Super excited to do this interview with you. How and when did Children's Cabinet get started?
Cabinet's been around for a long time. We started in this community in 1985, and it was a really exciting time in this community. A lot of growth was just kind of starting to happen, and we had local businessman Michael Dermody, who was talking with one of our local judges, that was Judge Chuck McGee, having a conversation about what Judge was seeing in his chambers and what families were facing and what the needs were, and they came together and created the cabinet.
What is the specific mission of Children's Cabinet?
So we actually have quite a long mission, but I will just synthesize it down to what we always say, and that is about keeping children safe and families together.
Who and where does the Children's Cabinet provide their services to?
So we're actually a statewide organization. We have an office in Las Vegas, we have an office in Elko, office in Carson City, and 4 locations here in Reno.
Wow.
So kind of a little bit here, there, and everywhere. The main hub of operations, though, is right here in Reno.
Okay.
And we serve about 12,000 families a year. And we're reaching the birth to 24 population, and that's something that a lot of people don't realize about the Children's Cabinet. We really have a wide variety of services and a wide spectrum of ages that we provide services to.
How does the Children's Cabinet deliver its mission to those in need?
Directly. Honestly, we are in families' homes if we need to be in a home. We have services at our different locations throughout the state, and some are individual and some are family appointments and services, and some are groups like parent education classes. So it just really depends on the needs of that family, and I think that's one of the real strengths of the cabinet is figuring out what that individual family's needs are and then wrapping the services around them to meet their needs. So we know that everybody has a different set of circumstances why they call us, and being able to hone in on what it is they need, whether it's a basket of food from our food pantry, or it's being involved in our workforce development so that they can get some construction education and find employment. It's really definitely not a one-size-fits-all model. It's based on that family and what their needs are. Okay.
And do you have what's your biggest age group that you service? Preschool, middle school, what is there?
It's really, so our smallest group would be 18 to 24-year-olds, because they're really, that's just our workforce development program.
Okay.
But besides that, from birth to 18, we are doing family counseling, we are child care resource and referral. We provide child care subsidy assistance, so if a mom needs to get to work and the child care cost is more than what she's making or makes it really hard,
that's right.
We have the subsidy program that can kind of bridge that gap. Parent education is for families with kids of any age, and intact family, a blended family, all kinds of different scenarios of parent education that we do. We work closely with Washoe County School District, so we do a lot of programming with the schools and in the schools. We have a program there in 7th grades. We're doing signs of suicide screenings, so we're seeing every 7th grader, and we're talking to them about really tough stuff, but telling them how to get help and who they can ask for help if they need it, and trying to meet those needs.
That's amazing. Kim, tell us how you became involved with Children's Cabinet.
So this is a great story. I was in my junior year at the University of Nevada. I was a business major, and my mom was actually teaching parenting classes at the Children's Cabinet.
Okay.
And I wasn't sure if business was where I was supposed to be, and so I was kind of starting to try to figure things out a little bit, and she said, you should come on down and check out the Children's Cabinet. And it was a very small office at that point in time. Sheila Leslie was the executive director, and there were 2 paid staff. And my mom was a volunteer parent education trainer. And I immediately knew this is where I was supposed to be. It was just right from the beginning. And the cabinet was just on the brink. We started a new program. It was a truancy prevention program.
Okay.
and working with law enforcement and social services and kind of figuring in the schools, trying to figure out why kids weren't going to school. And it was fascinating and terrifying and just things that you couldn't believe were happening in Reno, Nevada at that point in time. And I thought, this is where I'm supposed to be and this is what I want to do. And so that was 1989, a few years ago, and continued, shifted my major over to social work and did all my hours and internship here at the cabinet, and had the opportunity to really grow and start a program. One of the things that came out of our truancy education and prevention program was some kids weren't going to school because they just didn't fit in. They weren't matching up academically, and so if their teacher called on them for a reading out loud assignment or something like that, it was easier just not to go to that class. And so cabinet's always been about filling gaps, and we thought, well, there's a gap. Kids need tutoring, and they need free tutoring because it's expensive. And so we started a volunteer program with the Junior League and really got tutoring launched and filling gaps for kids and providing services.
Love that.
So,
Kim, having been involved in this program for so long, you've got to have a ton of these. But if you would take a minute and share a specific story of impact with either a child or a family, whatever it may be, just share a story of impact.
I think one of the most poignant things that we've done really in the last 6 weeks is that we've been able to keep families housed. And so we know that we have a pretty critical housing crisis in our community, and we know that homelessness is on the rise, and we, as an organization, really, really want to keep families housed.
As the executive director of Children's Cabinet, what could the community do for you now?
The biggest thing really is to contribute to this emergency needs fund. And we're not able to have volunteers in the building right now. We're not able to accept donations for our clothing closet or our food pantry or any of those things that we typically have, but we are out there purchasing we're purchasing diapers and formula, and not only as an executive director, but as a mom who had kids. When you have someone who calls you and says, I just need diapers or I just need formula, you do everything you can to make that happen, because those are things, there's not an alternative for that. And so that's the biggest way that we can be helped at this point.
Excellent. Is there anything else that you haven't mentioned that you want the community to know?
I think the biggest thing is that people don't know about the Children's Cabinet is that we are a birth to 24 organization. So we provide child care resource and referral and child care subsidy and parent education classes and supporting programs with the school district, whether it's case management. We work closely with juvenile services, helping kids that are on probation. And we have a Safe Place program, which is a 24-hour response to any young person that needs a safe place to go to. And so they can call that number and they're immediately connected to one of our case managers. There's no voicemail, there's nothing like that. You talk to somebody who says, are you in a safe place? And then we get them to a safe place if they're not.
When you say that there are staff answering those phone calls from potential people that are in unsafe positions, are those by licensed people?
So the Safe Place calls are fielded by our case management staff and our therapy staff. And so depending on the severity of the call, the therapist is available all the time to jump in and help out. But we also employ a number of licensed therapists to do our free family counseling program. So that's a free family counseling and case management. It was Cabinet beginnings, 1985. We started both those programs, and we hold true to them today because they're so important.
And needed.
And expensive. I mean, family counseling, if you were to go out into the public sector to get involved, it's very expensive. So we're definitely committed to our family counseling program and providing that as a free service in this community.
Considering the funds that the Children's Cabinet receives from the GratisGives program is unrestricted funds, How do you plan to use them to further the mission of the Children's Cabinet?
So these funds will go directly to case management, and every family that calls us for help is matched with a case manager, even if they're coming to us for family counseling. We want our counselors and our therapists to be able to focus their time on the communication and the more therapeutic needs. But our case managers are able to help them figure out, do you need food? Do we need to look at your budget? What are the areas where this family needs those kinds of services? So we will use our GratisGives funds to further our case management programs.
Awesome. A fairly popular question that most nonprofits have to answer is, what portion of the funds donated by public goes towards the initiative?
So we're very proud of this. 93 cents of every dollar goes right back to programming. So
That is awesome.
yeah, we have
Yep.
we're pretty lean and mean.
I love it. I love it. Every team member in the Gratis team is inspired by the bridge building component of what we do. We love connecting local business owners to local nonprofits. Do you have a story of connection that has been instigated by the GratisGives program?
Oh, I think probably Squeeze In would be my
Great example.
Yes.
If someone wanted to reach out to you after seeing this video, how should they contact you? How can they reach you? And what is the best way?
But please call us, 856-6200. We have another phone number, 352-8090. Call us. We're ready to take your call. If email is more convenient or comfortable, it's mail@childrenscabinet.org or our website. So we'd love to hear from you.
And the website is?
www.childrenscabinet.org.
Right on. Again, thank you.